Hey, what's going on? Doing a little Facebook Live here, Brian, setthepacetriathlon.com. So this Facebook Live, we're going to go over some quick tips. I've been getting a little bit of feedback, especially we're getting into the holidays, time of this recording, week before Christmas of 2020. So you're getting into the holidays, or maybe you've gone through it already, Thanksgiving. So Christmas is coming up, New Year's is coming up, kids are home from school, if they're not already. And you've got to figure out what's going on, how to get your workouts in, and sometimes you're just going to miss stuff. So I've made some quick notes to help you get through the holidays or any other time. You know, if work kicks in and you just out the wazoo with work, and you know you're having to miss some stuff, what can you do, and what should you do for those missed workouts? So the first point is swims are the easiest to move around. They're the lowest impact. So if you've got to swim on a Monday, but for whatever reason, Monday is booked up, you can't make it to the pool or something, you could slide those swims around. Be a little bit careful with the speed work, or if you're doing a high strength, you know, lots of paddle work or something like that, just be a little bit careful, but mostly you're doing upper body, unless it's an extreme kicking workout. If you move it into, you know, maybe your long run day on Sunday, you can go catch the pool, or if you just need to move it into a different lunch day or something like that, or after work, before work, wherever you can fit it in. As long as you're not bumping like another workout to take its place, you know, then it's pretty easy to slide your swim around. So that's the first thing you do is swims are pretty flexible. You know, don't do 2 in a day or something like that. You know, we're not Michael Phelps out here, but if you need to slide around, you need to miss it for a day and move it to another day. If you have the possibility to do that, just be careful not to overload yourself too much. Bikes are a little bit the next easiest to move. You get a little bit sketchy, especially if you're doing threshold work or something like that. You don't want to run into a threshold workout and then run it into a threshold run workout, something like that. You don't want to do a strength workout and then turn around and try to do a threshold bike ride. It could definitely interfere with a little bit. You probably aren't crossing the line of getting possible injuries or anything, but you're really going to wear yourself out. And if you're moving a very tough bike ride to another tough day in general, then it could become a problem. Because it's going to affect either that bike workout or other workouts, and just make you a little bit more exhausted for that day of work. So just be careful moving the bikes around. Like if it's an easy bike ride, that's a little bit more flexible. You can kind of move that around. You can break it into a workout. You can do it before a run, or if you got an intense run, you could do it as your cool down for your intense run or something like that. So bikes are a little bit easier to move. Runs are the most difficult to move because that's the most impact that you're going to have on your body. So if you've got, you know, a run on a Monday, but then you're running Friday and then Sunday, and Saturday is the only day you got to move you do your run in, it's going to be a little difficult to stack in 3 days in a row of running. A lot of people, that's going to cause problems, especially you're not going to be as recovered, especially if you're doing like a long run and then you jam another run in maybe the next day. You're not getting that full recovery. So just be a little bit careful on the runs. If you can't, you know, if you can't make up that day, be very careful where you try to shift that back in if you're trying to make it in. Avoid more than 2 days in a row of high impact stuff. So with my athletes and my plans, I try to only do usually Tuesdays and Thursdays are high impact, either a bike or a run those days. The other bike or run for that day may be easy. And then there's a high intensity like swim day. So just make sure you don't stack high intensity, long day. You do that and you keep doing it over time, you're going to run into a problem. You're going to overtrain yourself and possibly set yourself up for injury. So avoid too many days in a row of high intensity work. Careful moving the strength work around. Now at this time of year, I like to see a little bit more functional strength. So some, you know, the traditional squats and bench press and, you know, high strength movements, you know, just blunt force activities. But be careful. Again, you move it into a high intensity run day, a high intensity bike day, a high intensity swim day, and you're doing high strength work as well. It could be a little tough. Now, if you're doing more mobility and flexibility and that type of stuff, it's not as bad or difficult to move around, but just be careful moving those strengths around, because again, you don't want to lump a bunch of high intensity work into one day, and that could be a problem. Try to keep the long stuff at all costs. Usually that's Saturdays and Sundays. You know, don't bump a long bike ride to make up a run. Don't bump a long run to make up a swim. So if you've got to miss a workout, you know, miss the ones you're going to miss, but make sure you try to keep those long ones in at all costs. Usually Saturdays and Sundays schedule's a little bit more flexible to be able to get those in for sure. So if you're missing a workout on Tuesday, don't punt one of your long workouts on Saturday and Sunday to make up that other workout. So I'd rather see you skip that workout than skip the long stuff. You could combine workouts. So let's say you have some threshold intervals on the bike on Tuesday and you just can't get it done. Something's come up, Johnny's sick, whatever, you can't get it done. So what you could do is if you got a long bike ride on the weekend, maybe it's an hour and a half easy ride. Well, before the hour and a half, maybe you do your warm up and you do your threshold intervals, and then you finish off the workout, maybe you go to 2 hours or something like that. So, the last part of it is just totally easy ride and you're just doing your endurance. So there's possibility, especially if you're missing maybe an easy run, and then you're doing a long run on the weekend, if you can maybe add 10 minutes to it or something like that. Or if you've got a run on Tuesday and run on Thursday, you're going to miss your Tuesday run, but it was an easy run. So on Thursday, you just tack on 20, 30 more minutes to your run, maybe some threshold intervals, and maybe you make your warm up a little bit longer, or cool down a little bit longer. So you can increase the duration of other workouts in the week, just depending on what that workout was, or you can kind of change it up a little bit. But just be careful with that, but you can combine workouts if you need to. Especially if it's a bike and a run, you can turn into a brick, cut the cool down for one and the warm up for the other, because you're already warmed up. And you don't need to cool down until after your last workout. So if it's a bike and a run, then just, cut down the cool down for the bike and then move over to your run if you can, and then do your cool down for your run. Like I said, you can link in workouts, so that was the other tip. Do not try to make up all your workouts. So if you're missing Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, you're out of town, traveling, somebody's in town, you can't do it, your trainer's busted and it's snowing outside and you can't go outside and ride, if you've missed 3-4 workouts, do not try to jam all 3 or 4 of those workouts in the rest of the days of the week. I hate to see people that carry over into the next week, because then you're messing up the week after. So it's better to miss those workouts and maybe make up 1 or 2, draw a line in the sand on Sunday, and then start the new week and start off right and start out how it was intended. So once you start doing that, it kind of snowballs into a big, huge weekend, and then you're worn out, and then you're skipping workouts because you're too exhausted to do them, and then you're pushing them more. So then you're doing lots of work in fewer days, and you're kind of screwing yourself out of a little bit of recovery. So you've got to be careful with that. Don't sacrifice sleep. So it kind of goes into that recovery. Do not sacrifice sleep. The last thing I want to see people do is come home after working 11, 12, 13-hour shifts, being a nurse, being a doctor, being a police officer, a fire department, and then you stay up and do your workout. I would rather you just come home, go to bed, and see if you can do it the next day or maybe in the morning or something like that. Get your sleep. Because if you're not getting your sleep and you're trying to make up these workouts and you're stressed out already because you're missing workouts and doing more work or something like that, the last thing you want to do is cut out the sleep, because that is a recipe for disaster, and it could send you into overtraining very quickly, chronic fatigue, injuries, all kinds of other stuff you really don't want to mess with. So don't sacrifice sleep. If you can get recovery, make sure you're getting recovery, especially if you got an active job where you're up on your feet all day. The last thing you need to do is go out and do a threshold interval for an hour after you've got done with work. Now, maybe you could do a 30-minute easy bike ride, 30-minute run or something like that, just to kind of flush everything out and just get, your mind kind of off things. But you do those high-intensity intervals, then you're kind of jazzed up, and then it's harder to go to sleep to make up that sleep to begin with and get recovered. So it's just another snowball thing. So don't cut sleep to make up missed workouts. So that's all the tips I have. So hopefully that kind of helped you out. If you're missing workouts around holidays, it's better if you're trying to do 2 a day, cut them down to 1 a day. Make it realistic, make it sustainable, especially if you got something that's going on long term. I know some people in the medical field, now that the vaccine for coronavirus is coming out, now they're having to do extra shifts to fit everybody in to get it. And it's just hectic and it's crazy, and you're working in right around the holidays. Take it easy, take a break, give yourself some grace. Even if you missed a full week of workouts, you're not going to seriously decline in fitness. Now, you get into 2-3 weeks, then it's a different conversation. But you can miss some workouts, you can shift around workouts, you can make some stuff up, but just be careful. Don't go overboard. Don't slam a bunch of high intensity together, feeling that you're missing some fitness, missing some days. You're going to make it up by doing higher intensity work. Don't do that. If you ever got any questions, you got a certain situation that came up, you're one of my athletes and you got this question coming up, please let me know. You guys have been good about that, and this is why this is coming about. A lot of this is coming on right now because of the holidays and because of shift work, because of the pandemic situation. Lots of stuff going on, lots of factors. We'll keep you fit, keep you healthy, and we'll all get through this. So if you have any other questions, put them in the comments. Send me emails, put a comment on the videos, whatever you got to do, get a hold of me, and I'll try to help you as best I can. So happy training out there. We'll see you next time.